In this video, we're going to be going over the main features and functions about using the Intuvia 100 display for the Bosch smart system. A great video to watch along with this one is my short video on using the Bosch smart system LED remote. Let's first go through all of the display functions and what all of these mean. Starting at the top, this is your battery charge. Moving over, if you see this icon, it means your lights are turned on. If it's not displayed, maybe you don't have lights or they're turned off. All the way to the right, you have 4 bars. Right now, I have no assistance mode turned on. As I go up in assistance mode, the bars move. This little bar all the way to the right is showing me how much energy or how much assistance my motor is giving me. The big number in the middle is your speedometer, and then next to it, you'll see the units of measurement. Now this line right here is going to show you different functions that you can scroll through. You can see your trip distance, the time of day, your battery range, and then right below it is your text description for that function. But it also displays warnings like this: avoid distracted riding. The very first feature I want to talk about, even before getting to the bike, is to know that this is a wireless display and it's not necessary to work your bike. This is really important to know because typically, before in all of Bosch's BES2 systems, or Bosch e-bike system 2, they all required you to have a display to work the bike. The Intuvia 100 is not required to use your bike. So in some situations, I want a cleaner setup, or maybe I'm getting on and off the bike a lot, I just take the Intuvia off and store it in a safe padded area in my bag. You're going to install at the 10 o'clock position and turn clockwise until it clicks in. You remove it by twisting counterclockwise. It does not matter if your bike is turned on or off when you install this because the Intuvia 100 is completely wireless. To turn on your system, touch the top button of your remote. Give it a moment to get started. If your Intuvia has been recently turned off, it may take a few seconds to sync. Now, your bike is on, but it's not in any mode. We're going to hit the plus button on this rocker right here. So plus is the top. You're just going to scroll through your assistance modes. First, we have Eco, which gives you the least amount of assistance, but the best battery range. Tour, new for the smart system, we have Auto mode, or EMTB on your mountain bikes. And then Turbo, which is the most assistance, but also going to drain your battery the fastest. All of these are customizable in your e-bike Flow app, which I've covered in a separate video. The important thing to know is each mode gives you more assistance, amplifying the power you are putting into your pedals. The more assistance, the less battery range you have, and that's something that you can kind of decide on yourself. The next thing to know is going to be the scroll left and right at the top of your remote. And then we have a select button in the middle. When you scroll through these, you're going to see different functions. I am commonly looking at the time, or if my battery is below 50%, I am watching the range. The range is constantly updating to calculate based on your riding, the terrain, and what you might be carrying. It is also based on your specific assistance mode being used, so you'll see the range change when you go up and down in assistance. If you want to know more about calculating estimated range, I'll put a link below to Bosch's range estimator. If your bike comes equipped with lights, you can turn them on and off holding down the plus button until the icon turns on. Do it again to turn them off. Dealers are able to change if your lights are always on with their diagnostics tool. Depending on your region, they may be fixed always on. Personally, that's my go-to because they drain such a small amount of battery and give you a really nice safety and to be seen feature. There is walk assist. Walk assist does exactly like it sounds. If you're off the bike and trying to push it, the motor assists you by rotating the cranks and driving that rear wheel forward. You access this mode with the minus button. You hold this button down, and then you must start moving your bike forward. The motor will then assist you. Also, there is something now called hill hold, where the motor will hold the bike from rolling backwards for a short amount of time if you take your finger off that minus button. This is handy if you need to, readjust your hand holds, or maybe your finger has just slipped off the button. And now you can just quickly push that minus button again to reactivate walk mode, but your bike's not gonna roll backwards on you. Finally, all of these options are removed from the Intuvia 100 if you connect your phone through the Flow app and turn on the ride mode. Now your remote will control your phone. I personally just remove the Intuvia if I'm using my phone. Let's dig into more of the nitty-gritty details and settings of this display. There are a few settings you can change within the remote. These include the language, units, time of day, time format, if it's going to tell you you should shift, how long the backlight is on, how bright your backlight is, resetting all of the settings you just changed, or this back gets you out of your settings screen. So to access the settings, you just hold this select button until it comes up. It's worth noting you can only access this when you're not riding, but I have accidentally fumbled into it while riding and stopped at a stoplight. So if you're here because of that, to quickly get out of settings, if it says language, just tap that left button once and see back, or just scroll through until you see that word back, and then hold down your select button. If you're here because you actually want to change your settings, let's show you how to do that with the common ones that I'm normally changing. That includes changing the time, either because it wasn't set from the dealer or because daylight savings here in North America. And then I'm gonna change how long the backlight stays on and how bright it is. So to access those settings, I am holding that little select button until I see the word settings. And now all I'm gonna do is scroll to what I need to change. The time on the Intuvia 100 is one thing I'm really surprised doesn't update when you sync with the Flow app. Something I hope Bosch changes in the future, because scrolling through these settings manually for the time is the only really annoying thing I've found on the Intuvia 100 that I wish was changed. So you can scroll left to right to select the different time, and then you hold down the select button to change it. Now to get out of that, I'm going to hit the right button so that it scrolls over and over. And now the time format is 12 hours, which is great. Shift recommendation, I like on. Backlight, I'm gonna change. So you have a 3, 5, or 10-second increments. I like it at 10 seconds. And then you can change the brightness from 5 to 100%. I'm gonna do 75%. And now I'm going over to back, holding that down, and now my settings are saved. The battery does need replaced sometimes. Inside, you're gonna find a non-rechargeable battery, the CR2450. If you replace it, I do recommend using gloves so you don't get anything on it. And remember that these little batteries are a huge hazard for small kids and babies if ingested. So make sure they go directly into the battery recycle bin. This is rated to IP54, which means it has decent water resistance, but it shouldn't be soaked. The display can technically be locked on, but I have been able to force it off. If you're transporting your bike or storing it outside, make sure to remove this display and bring it in with you. If you aren't going to be riding your bike for a while, I do recommend turning on storage mode. That little button on the back is your Bluetooth button. Hold that for 8 to 10 seconds. If you're adding this display to your bike or you recently replaced the battery, you'll need to resync the Bluetooth connection through the Flow app. You're going to do this by briefly pressing the Bluetooth button on the back and then select the display in your e-bike Flow app. Another thing you can do in your Flow app is you can check your battery life left of your display. You do this by going into your app, settings, my e-bike, components, display. These are all the features and settings I have found useful at the time of recording this using the Intuvia 1.1.56 software version. If there is something you have found, please comment below. You can also find other useful how-to articles and videos for the Bosch Smart System linked below. If I'm missing something, please let me know. As always, thanks for watching. Stay well, stay good, and remember to bike more and worry less.